everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, as you may already know, I already finished all the best cars in each tier videos, and if you need that information and you haven't watched them yet, feel free to check my playlist. And today I'll give you the exact opposite of that, because we're gonna talk about cars that you should avoid, but not like totally avoid them, but like it's best if you're a beginner to choose another cars that are not on this list because of many reasons, and it's kinda complicated, but we'll get to it in a moment. And I won't talk about tier 1 because whatever problems you have with tier 1, in the end, they're just tier 1. They're supposed to be the entry level, they're supposed to be not good enough, and if they perform great, then take it as a bonus. So yeah, we'll start from tier 2. Let's go! So, on tier 2, we got this Godzilla R3. The reason why you should avoid this car is that the stock engine is underpowered. It performs like a tier 1. A good tier 1, but still a tier 1. So if you don't have any engine swap for it yet, then it's better for you to build another cars first. The next tier 2 is this burner JDM. Back then, this car was super heavy and underpowered, but after the latest update, it's not that heavy anymore. It's definitely way more agile now, but it's still really underpowered. So again, if you like this car for whatever reasons, it's best to buy it after you got the swap for its engine. Moving on to tier 3, we got this Horizon GT4. Well, this car is actually great. In a way. I mean, this car is actually one of the cars with the best handling in the entire game. But the problem is, the stock engine's peak power output is just really low for tier 3. So if you want to buy this car, it's best to wait until you have a swap for it so you won't regret your purchase because it's currently a gold car. Next on tier 3, we got this DDM46. Now, if you're a Need for Speed fan like me, this car has gotta be on your want list, because honestly, the M3 on the NFS is really sick, but sadly, it's the other way around in this game. This car is heavy and underpowered, so if you actually wanna build this car, just wait until you got a swap for it. And I said build because if I remember correctly, you can get this car for free from the event. Still on tier 3, we got this abomination, the General VX. Honestly, in my opinion, this car has no business being here. It's a heavy, underpowered, understeer-oversteer mess with a really weak differential. So yeah, even that huge cargo truck drifts better than this car. And I don't know about the swaps because honestly, I'm not even interested to try it in this car. And in my opinion, this is easily the worst car in the entire game. Moving on to tier 4, we got this EVA MR. This car is underpowered, but that's not the biggest problem with this car. The biggest problem is that this is one of the hardest cars to work with in the entire game. But that's just my personal opinion though. So if you're a beginner and you really love the EVOs, you better go with the EVA X or maybe pick another cars because you'll probably have a hard time tuning this one. Next on tier 4, we got this Shark GT. This car handles like that General VX. The differences are, this car is slightly more powerful and it's not heavy. Even though the stat says it weighs about 1.5 tons, it actually feels really light when you drift it, just like the Hunter. And it does drift because it has power, but still, it handles like the General VX. last one on tier 4, the Supra. Well, honestly, this car isn't bad, but it's not great either. It's just mediocre. Everything are pretty much okay with this car. The problem is, it's an expensive gold car, and with this price point, the performance to price ratio is really bad. So if you're planning to buy a gold tier 4, I suggest you go straight for the S15, which is one of the best cars in the entire game. Moving on to tier 5 and the last car on this list, we got this Lowkey 4M. This car is basically bad news. It's a tier 5, which means it's one of the most expensive cars in the entire game, but performance-wise, it performs like a tier 3. And it's crazy because it jumps down 2 tiers below. Very underpowered. And honestly, please don't buy this car. It's not gonna be good for anything. It's probably gonna be an instant regret. I mean, it's not like it's bad like the General VX, but like, it's just so wasteful, you know? Paying tier 5 price and get tier 3 performance. Well, you do the math. Alright, those are all the cars that you should avoid in this game, but here's another thing you should know. If you see vans, wagons, trucks, and muscle cars, they're generally still pretty bad. But again, not like the General VX bad. I mean, they're pretty fun to drift with, but they're not really something that I recommend for competitive use, unless we're talking about the blackjacks. If you see anything blackjack, they're all great. Whatever it is, if it's a blackjack, it's great. That's it for this video. Give it a like if you think it's good, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.